Hey everybody, it's Lo and welcome back to my channel, Lo Without Limits. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own falafel at home. Mediterranean food is my favorite type of cuisine, so I love having falafel available to have at dinner with a Greek salad, or take it to work to make, or have my own pita wraps. So being able to make your own falafel is just so nice. So if you want to see how to make it, then just keep watching. Okay, so for today's falafel, it's also gluten-free since I am gluten-free, and it's so easy to make. A lot of the ingredients I actually got from looking at the side of the Trader Joe's gluten-free falafel mix box. It just shows you the ingredients on the side. It said like spices, which was very vague, but I kind of went off my own falafel spices that I know of. I've made it before, and having that just kind of helped me fine tweak the recipe. So to start off, we're actually going to warm up the oven since that will take a little bit longer. We'll be putting it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And while the oven is preheating, I already have 1 cup of chickpeas. It was drained and rinsed, and I'll just be dumping that into my food processor. I'll also be adding half a cup of chopped up red onion. It's not super fine chopped since I am throwing it into a food processor, but it's pretty small, and I personally like red onion. Of course, you can use white onion if that's what you prefer, but I'm a big red onion gal. As well as 1 cup of parsley. So on the side of the Trader Joe's gluten-free falafel mix, it says dry parsley, so having it fresh just proves that this will be even better for you than buying it at the store. And it's not that hard to make. You can do this on a meal prep Sunday, and it makes enough to last you all week. But if you don't want it every single day for the week, it's easy enough to just put in the freezer and warm it up in a toaster oven when you're ready to eat it. And now with just those 3 ingredients, we're gonna process it all together. And now you don't want it to already get mushy and together, so you're just gonna stop food processing it when everything's kind of broken down and mixed up, but not a big ball of mush. Okay, now that those 3 ingredients are blended together, I'm just gonna use a little spatula or whatever you have available to kind of get it all off the sides. And now I'm going to dump in all of these dry ingredients. In this, I have about a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper. Obviously, if you like more or less, then do what you like. 2 garlic cloves, but I used the pre-minced garlic, so it came out to be 1 teaspoon, because half a teaspoon equals 1 clove for this. Some coriander, cumin, cardamom, baking powder, and this is just for when it's in the oven, since these will be baked falafel, not fried. Fried, I've tried before, and I'm kind of made a mess. Some ground flaxseed and some all-purpose gluten flour. These 2 things will just kind of help it bind together, because if you just have a bunch of mushy parsley and chickpeas, it won't really stick together and it'll kind of be a little weird when it bakes. So adding these things will just make sure that it stays together when it's in the oven. Of course, with all of these ingredients, it kind of depends on what you like more. Some people like adding cilantro when they add in the parsley to their falafel. I'm personally not a big cilantro fan, so I just add more parsley. And the cardamom just gives a little bit more of a kick, obviously with the cumin and basically everything else. Depends on what you like. So if you want a little bit more or less of something, then do whatever you like. And have fun experimenting with it. And now that those are all in the food processor, I'll just let it go again. Now it's blended up and it's pretty all well mixed, as you just saw. And the oven is ready. Now this is still a bit mushy, so just to kind of make sure that it's good and sticks together when it's in the oven, I'm gonna add in a little bit more of the flour. Gluten-free flour. Other flour is just gluten flour. A bit more flax too. Give it some healthy omegas while we're at it. Okay, now the falafel is all done being mixed up. Just take that off of that. and the oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. I have my baking sheet with just a little bit of parchment paper on top, and on top of the parchment paper I'm just gonna rub a little bit of olive oil on it just to make sure that it doesn't stick. And from there, now I'm just going to take a spoon and make little balls and plop them on top of the sheet. Of course, if you have like a cookie, like an ice cream scoop or something like that, it'd be much, much easier, but I don't have that. So they're about this big. Kind of like roll them up, almost like as if they're like little cookies. And plop them just on there and give them a little like pat down, so they're not gonna be perfectly round falafel. But it's fine if you're like making a sandwich or pita anyway. Having round falafel is really hard to like shove in there. But giving them a little pat down helps them bake a little bit quicker. There we are, I just made 12. Now that the falafel is all made on the pan, I have 12 of them, and you're gonna stick it in the oven for 35 minutes total. But at 20 minutes, you're gonna go and you're gonna flip them just to make sure that they're baked evenly and just have a nice like, golden color on each side. So you'll flip at 20 minutes and then leave them in there for another 15. And I'll check back in at 20 minutes so we can flip them together. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes since I put the falafel in the oven. I'm just gonna take them out and flip them and then put them back in there for the final 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm gonna stick them back in the oven for about 10 to 15 more minutes. I'm just gonna keep an eye on them, so once it's at about 10 minutes, I'll check on them and then see what I wanna do with them from there. And we'll see when they're all done. It's been another 10 minutes, putting our total bake time at 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna take them out and see how they're doing and see if I wanna leave them in there for another few minutes. They're looking good and golden on each side. But they're still a little mushy inside, so I will leave them in there for about another 5 minutes. And then we'll check back in when it is a total of 35 minutes. Now those last 5 minutes are up. And the falafel are all done. And well cooked on the inside too. So the total this time was 35 minutes, but of course, depending on how much you add inside and just like different spices, different dry ingredients, it all just kind of changes. So it's between like 30 and 35 minutes. Just be sure to keep an eye on it. Well, there you have it, my super simple and easy homemade falafel. I'm gonna let them cool off for a bit before I stick them in the refrigerator. But when I do, I'll put them in this re-zip bag and they'll last in the refrigerator all week. Or if you need them to last a little bit longer, you can pop them in the freezer and then throw them in the toaster oven right before you eat them. They're so good for on top of like Greek salads or in sandwiches, on other bowls, whatever you wanna do with them. They're so good, you know exactly what's in them, and they were just so simple to make. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you tried this recipe or what you wanna see more of on my channel. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a new video every Wednesday. And until the next one, thanks for watching.